Hi guys, welcome to Drum Dog, and today we are checking out the 4-stroke Ruff. Now, I feel like the 4-stroke Ruff is one of those rudiments that can be easily overlooked because on face value, you look at it and it it looks a bit boring. It's just right, left, right, left. I mean, that's just like a single stroke roll. Anyone can play that. What are we going to do with it? But it actually is a little bit more than that. As soon as we apply the right subdivisions and the dynamics that come into it, this little rudiment really does come to life and have a whole heap of applications. So today we're going to get under what makes it the 4-stroke Ruff properly and not just a single stroke roll, as well as a few applications on the kit which actually sound super killer. So first things first, what makes this not just a single stroke roll? There are two reasons. Reason number one is subdivisions, okay? So a single stroke roll is all even subdivisions, whether they are quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and or 16th notes, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a so on, so on. All the notes have an even value. With the 4-stroke Ruff, that is not the case. Our first 3 notes we are going to play as 16th note triplets, and our last note is going to be a quarter note. So instead of it being an evenly spaced group of notes, we've now got triplet 1 or triplet 2. So we've got 3 quicker notes and then an accent at the end, which brings us on to point number 2 of what makes it not just a single stroke roll, and that is dynamics. Because our first 3 notes are designed to be grace notes or ghost notes, they're quieter, and that last quarter note is going to be an accent. Triplet 1, triplet 2, triplet 3, triplet 4. And now all of a sudden we've got something that doesn't just sound like a single stroke roll. It sounds like a 4-stroke Ruff. Now this dynamic change does actually make it quite a lot harder to play. And that is because we're accenting with the hand that did not start leading the phrase. So say we're playing this right lead, right, left, right, left. So we're leading the phrase with our right hand, but our accent on the last note is going to be with our left hand. And equally, if we flip that round and lead it with our left hand, our accent's going to be with our right hand. So no matter which way round you play it, either your weaker hand is going to be leading the phrase or required to play the accent at the end. So this, as a little phrase, actually really puts your weaker hand to the test and makes it play this rudiment with a little more authority than just copying the other hand, because you can't get away with that here. So a couple tips to get this sounding smooth and get that weaker hand really working for you. The first thing is on the dynamic front. So we're going to break this down into terms of molar strokes, whether that is a tap stroke or an up stroke or a down stroke. Those are the 3 strokes we're dealing with here. And say we're leading this with our right hand. We're going to be looking at a tap, an up, a tap, and then a down. Okay? So the leading hand is just playing 2 taps. Nice and easy. Tap, tap. We love that. We can play that all day long. Tap, tap. But the other hand that's playing that accent at the end is having to play an up and then a down. Okay? Now that is a slightly harder phrase than 2 taps. So especially since with leading with our strong hand, we're having to play that with our weaker hand, that's going to take a little bit of practice. Okay? Up, down, up, down. And then for match grip as well, we're looking at that up, down, up, down. So we really want to get that feeling nice and comfortable before we're adding in those taps. And now we can hear how just that little bit of practice on up, down now gets those dynamics for the 4 full-stroke Ruff sounding super smooth. And then it's the same thing for if we're leading with that left hand. So the left hand's now going to be playing the 2 taps. And our right hand is going to be playing the up and the down. Up, down. So we're going to get just a hang of that for a second. Now that's in our leading hand, it does feel a bit more comfortable. But now we add in those taps, we're going to have to start those taps gently with our non-leading hand, which can actually be a bit of a challenge to let that non-leading hand lead a phrase as a ghost note. Sometimes it's a bit harder to play quieter than it is to really bash out that first note with confidence. To start that first note in our weaker hand, nice and subtly, actually needs a little bit of practice. Okay, before we get too boring on the pad here, let's take those phrases as they are to the kit and let's throw it around a few toms. Okay, so now things are actually starting to sound a bit cool and musical and not just like single strokes at all. But we can do a little bit more with the 4-stroke Ruff than just throw it around the toms like that. So the next thing we're going to check out here is actually using those 3 grace notes as ghost notes in the middle of a groove. So with those fills, I was leading with my right hand and we were playing the accent with the left hand. But in our groove, because I want our accent to land back on the right hand to continue on the hats, I'm going to start my Ruff in the left hand. So we're going to have a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, triplet 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, triplet 1. So really take the time to start leading that 4-stroke Ruff with your weaker hand, nice and quietly, really get a feel for how that's coming in and not accidentally starting too loud that we get a ba-ba-da-ba, because we want it to be 3 quiet notes. Cha-cha-cha. Okay, so this is sounding pretty slick as a fill as well as in the middle of a groove. But so far, every example we've looked at has put our accent on the quarter note. Triplet 1, triplet 2, triplet 3, triplet 4. But we can also start to mix things up a slightly different way by starting our Ruff on the quarter note. And then our accent turns to the 8th note offbeat. 1 triplet and, 2 triplet and, 3 triplet and, 4 triplet and. So it's the exact same phrase, triplet 1, triplet 2, triplet 3, triplet 4. 1 triplet and, 2 triplet and, 3 triplet and, 4 triplet and. But now we're catching that 8th note offbeat as the accent. So now that we've got those 2 different versions with the quarter note accent and the 8th note offbeat accent, let's take this back to the kit and start to mix between the 2 to be able to pick out different accents as required. Okay, so we've taken what on face value looked like a fairly simple rudiment, and just by getting under the skin of it and then manipulating it in a couple of ways, we've got a heap more vocabulary that sounds awesome in the kit in a bunch of different applications. Now, I really hope you guys have enjoyed this lesson and that you enjoy incorporating those ruffs into your playing. If you enjoyed this lesson, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again soon.